When many think of fashion, a specific image comes to mind, a vibrant runway. The divinely exclusive crowd looking to see beautifully crafted clothing by the world's most prestigious fashion designers. Showcased on captivating, charismatic, magnetic women with character and class to match the designer's aesthetic vision. Women who just seem to have it. The factor goes beyond a person's appearance, transcending physical beauty to a radiance that comes from within that further enhances the outside through thoughts, feelings, and personality. Though this exists in many forms in history as well as the modern age, famously one era of fashion stands forever prominent, cherished, and beloved. The age of the supermodel. These muses did more than walk the most esteemed runways with perfect form, spending time at the trendiest night spots, or appearing in interviews. These women have a presence and voice that touch the heart of an industry that treasures beauty, life, and art.
Yes, guys, got that! Yes! Wicked.
Hence their legendary imagery and aesthetic is still relevant to this day. Though the 90s, age of the supermodel, that is typically thought of has closed at the end of the decade, the beauty, persona, and aura of the supermodels have left an everlasting impression, due to the it factor each of them held and shared with the world. The term supermodel is defined as a fashion model with a worldwide standing and a background in haute couture alongside commercial modeling. Claudia Schiffer stated in 2007 that, in order to become a supermodel one must be on all the covers all over the world, at the same time so that people can recognize the girls. Girls with an it factor. The supermodels were not just faces, but personalities with true radiance. In this video, we will be looking into the history of the supermodels to understand the origins and purpose, the aesthetics of the supermodel age to see how this was channeled, and the style as well as beauty practices that contribute to the it factor and elegant yet striking presence. The famous Vogue Italia cover of 1989 featuring Linda Evangelista, Naomi Campbell and Christy Turlington, shot by Steven Meisel, ushered in the 90s supermodel age. This photographer's work has graced numerous major magazines. He has a remarkable genius for composing narratives that recognize culture, in addition to his ability of capturing character and the faces that came to define the look of the day it is taken. This is important to note as each model projects character on the runway. Each channeled themselves into the look to present the garment in a manner that created a moment. Serving as a muse within the creative visions, but remaining distant enough to provoke a sense of mystery while being alluring or charming in their own way for the garment. These runway moments remain one of a kind. For example, Kate Moss held an eternal youth factor. With waif-like stature, her range can go from grunge to glamour, adding a pure, joyous yet raw charm that captured the heart to the ensembles she would showcase. This factor is not to define or be the absence of womanhood though.
Represent an anti-woman thing because you're little. And
there's lots of little people. Why can't, right? Because, they said that about, they're going to say that about anyone. They said that about the big girls, like saying you have to have silicone implants and just because you didn't, just because you don't look like something, why should you think it's a bad thing?
Other models with differing mystique have also channeled the it factor in differing ways that held a presence and commanded the room to watch as they came down the runway, as each displayed the designer's work in the finest image possible through their own womanhood. Another example is Yasmine Guri, who had a regal, yet airy factor, resulting in ensembles becoming more sophisticated and mature through her elegant walk with a refined, strong presence. Yasmine, a woman of substance who was an avid reader, driven and intelligent, was able to bring these traits to the looks. While just by looking at her we wouldn't know she read 10 books a month, her grounded natural charm, self-assurance, and vulnerability through how she carried herself added this regal, yet airy factor to the ensembles she showcased. Dubbed the face of an angel, the body of a goddess, by Gianni Versace, the supermodel curator. With a fashion houses that places high importance on celebrating the female form and a woman's individuality, designer Gianni Versace curated the big 6 supermodels that come to mind now. Fashion is a tangible depiction of society, culture, and people in a specific moment. Gianni was one to view fashion as an art and understood the relationship people have to clothing. He as a designer understood the super's stature and also their skills in embodying not just themselves, but any garment they sported. As the women garnered more recognition and press coverage, Versace knew they were becoming the faces of the 90s. The designers defined the supermodel aesthetic with the supers modeling in the memorable campaigns that offer iconic imagery and style notes. Originally the Big Five, a term referring to Linda Evangelista, Claudia Schiffer, Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, and Naomi Campbell, would go on to evolve into the Big Six, including Kate Moss into the mid-90s. Each woman had their own unique niche, a trademark charm, hence no competition, as they all embodied the beauty of the 90s. Linda. The style chameleon, Claudia. The bright blonde, Cindy. The sexy one, Naomi. The glamorous, Christy. The elegant, and Kate. The eternal youth. With their demure expressions and charismatic strides, their unique factors created both the look and cultural moment of 90s glamour. This type of glamour has a down-to-earth feeling yet elevated, well-rounded women that felt at ease in their own skin. The aesthetic drew people in and many gravitated towards it as there was a sense of realism. The public did not have total access, but was beyond intrigued. Supermodels of this time were prominent in celebrity culture. Every photograph was like a glimpse into the glamorous fashion culture that many think or even dream of. Even in photography where the quote-unquote imperfections can be seen, this just made the women all the more beautiful, in intimate stills that have become known as some of the most iconic fashion photography. German fashion photographer and film director, Peter Lindbergh stated, "Using black and white photography was really important in creating the supermodel. Every time I tried to shoot them in color, because their beauty was close to perfection, it ended up looking like a bad cosmetics advert. With black and white, you can really see who they are. It toned down the commercial interpretation that color gives." What's so striking about black and white is how it really helps a sense of reality to come through.
I think that women see pictures of us and they wonder why they don't look like that, but what they don't know is we don't even look like that. You know, I mean, it's the whole created image that the whole team makes. It would be silly for me to say that physical beauty is not important for our job, because it is, but I think everyone knows it sounds such a cliche to say that, you know, beauty's on the inside, but it's really true.
This sense of reality is an expression that is executed through aura, attitude, mannerisms, and personality. Looks, beauty practices, and style are an extension of this. For two examples, we can see in this interview how poised, well-spoken, and respectful Christy is.
What is this you're doing for the Museum of Modern Art? What is that?
Well, the Museum of Modern Art, well, actually, Museum of Metropolitan Art. They've asked me to pose for a mannequin they're using for their Costume Institute.
Sort of what? Typical, just a pretty face, or typical of 20th century woman, or something?
Well, they tried to choose a face that would go through all the periods. Some place that could be chameleon-like from the 16th century to now. And I'm very flattered that they asked me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And in this interview, how Naomi carries herself with elegant body posture and confident body language while speaking so passionately about her industry, but maintaining her boundaries of conversation.
What are you up to now?
Fashion Week started yesterday.
Oh, Fashion Week. Now, what the hell is Fashion Week? What does it mean?
Fashion Week is, like, I've been doing this whole month from Milan, London, Milan, Paris. It's now come to New York. It's the last of all the designers and the models being in the big tents, cold tents. I do it for the creative sense in New York. Europe's where you make money.
Yeah, that's where you make the big dough there in Europe.
Shows.
Doing the runway shows like we just saw there.
Yeah, but it's not always about the money. I mean, I do stuff for designers who don't pay anything. It's just
really?
You love what they do and it's creative and it's artistic for
That's
you.
interesting, because for me it's always about the money.
No, it's not for me.
No.
Both have an awareness of the world around them and themselves within it. This aura and attitude stand out because it differs from how many carry and present themselves. Their unique, distinctive beauties are further elevated through their personal wardrobes and makeup looks. The beauty practices of the supermodels off-runway tended to place more emphasis on enhancing the eyes, lips, and cheeks rather than the overall face to allow for these features to stand out. Features that are heavily needed in communication. Makeup trends of this time were more on the cool or neutral side in terms of undertone. If you're interested in implementing this technique to your own complexion, the Personal Style Analysis Guide, Seasonal Color Palettes is available now for you to understand your palette. Each had an individualized color palette and understanding of their personal looks due to their work in a creative industry. with an understanding how to channel a specific aura and attitude in unison to each of their unique beauties. Off-duty, they each would tangibly depict through their own personal styles. These outfits allowed for the supermodels to have the clothing be more of an extension of them, prioritizing themselves without a sacrifice of style. This also would produce not only a timeless style that is still looked to today, but also a versatile look in their day in order to work. Their clothing would often consist of the staple model top, jeans, and leather jacket, but they also would wear fashionable pieces of the 90s that would both set or contribute to the popularization of trends. Even in the most casual looks, they remain poised and have an elevation as clothing is well suited to the body and never ill-fit, while subtly highlighting features through the use of visual weight in relation to body, as well as face structure. If you're interested in curating this poised and elegant, yet laid-back wardrobe, the How to Dress Effortless, Chic, and Elegant guide is available now. These women could showcase high-end fashion that is masterfully crafted in the same manner they could effortlessly in their casual looks. Much of what is considered to be good fashion is how you carry yourself. The supermodels channeled their personalities, liveliness, and glamour to capture that spirit into a garment. This is the it factor that goes beyond the physical, as these women have transcended the supermodel age to define an aesthetic that is not only captivating visually, but intriguing to the mind and heart. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and comment. Thank you so much for watching.